I'm going to try and do a fish cycle. This is the fish. You can download this thing. It's called Snook or something. It has IK controls too, which I was going to use, but then I looked at them and they're kind of, I think it's spline IK. Look, if I move this, hang on a minute. If I move this, it moves the tail as well, which I don't really want. And then if I try and kind of rotate the tail, it's kind of hard without rotating the rest. So yeah, it's been rigged with spline IK and it probably isn't the best. So I decided I wasn't going to use, because I think because I tend to put things in paths, I thought IK would be easier. I'm going to use FK. So anyway, I came up with a better idea for this, is to put most of the animation on layers. Because then you've got these, this is the animation layers, this is the display, and this is the animation layers. Present, it's just the base animation. You've got the slider, you can slide things up and down. So so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these. I've actually already done this because I started recording this video and then I had to stop because the doorbell went. And I've put them in a selection set, and you can do that simply by going create sets, quick select set, and then you can put it on your shelf. So I can just select these now every time without having to pick them. So I'm going to, with these selected, I'm going to press on this button here and make a layer, and I'm going to call that fish cycle. And I've decided the cycle is going to be 45 frames long. And so starting with this one, the reason I'm starting with this one is this is actually the root control, so it moves the whole fish. I don't want that, but this is like the fish's tail, if you like, these ones onwards. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to 1, and I'm going to twist that around maybe like that, and then I'm going to key that again in 45. That's the end, and then 23, which is the middle, I'll twist in the opposite direction, so like this. See what this looks like. There we go, something like that. And yeah, that looks okay. So that's just 50, yeah, something like that. Something like that, I'll do it. Okay, so with that, and then I'm gonna, every 5 frames I'm gonna put this cycle. So this one starts at 1, so I'll just copy this, edit, copy. I go to the next control. On frame 6, I'm going to put another one. Edit, paste. Okay, like so. And then I'll put another one, 5 and 6, so it's 11. Press S to get the channels, and then select rotate Y. Paste one in. Okay. Right, and then go to the next one, and 16 this time, and edit, paste, and I'm cycling it forwards and cycling it backwards using those, and then go to the next, and it's going to be 21, select rotate Y, edit, paste, what's this look? Doesn't look too bad. And then go to the next one, and it will be 26. I'm just adding 6 on each time. Paste that. Now, if you're to be kind of a better way, maybe of doing this would be to make the controls at the end maybe slightly bigger, you know, because normally they'll rotate more than the ones here. But just for simplicity's sake, I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to do them all the same. Go to 30. This is slightly less far away from this one than this one, so I'll make it not quite as far. And I'll do the same. I'll paste this. And maybe got 33 for the last one because it's quite close. This one here. And I'm going to go rotate that. Okay, so paste. Right, so there we have the cycle. This is essentially it. And look, I can, if I want to make it less, it's a great thing about this, I can slow it down, make it very, very subtle, or I can have it more exaggerated. And if I want it more exaggerated than this, I might go in and just like, I'm going to take this and this. I'm going to take these two just to rotate Y controls. I'm just going to make them a bit bigger. Now you can actually scale these curves, but my computer, if I try and scale them, doesn't work. So it's a kind of bug I've got. So I'm just going to lift. I'm using this control here to do it. So that, maybe I'll scale up these two as well, just to rotate Y controls, nothing else. Maybe scale them a bit as well. And I might scale this one up too, again, just to rotate Ys. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just going to see what this looks like. So maybe this is a bit better. Yeah, okay, there's a bit more of a swish to that. Okay, that'll do. So that's the tail, first thing, done. Now I want a kind of slightly undulating feel on the fish. And I'm going to use the head. Maybe this control. Great thing about this is I can turn all this off, and it just goes back to you know, if I don't want to be confused by it, I can just take the weight down to 0, or I can even mute it by just going like this. It does the same thing. Anyway, so I'm just going to mute this. And we'll look at these. So this control controls the tail going backwards. So I'm going to take, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another layer, and I'm going to put the head, this one here, this kind of middle one, and this one in it. Select that, and I'm going to call this Bob, as in Bob up and down, not a bloke's name. So for this, I'm just going to, so we've got a new layer. I'm going to turn this one back on. And I'm going to have this go up, and I might as well keep the same amount. I'll do it 45 frames, so there, and have it go down 23. I'll loop that, so we've got this. It's a bit too much. It's got to be subtle. I'll just take this down a bit. Like I said, I'm using this control because my scale tool for the curves is, I don't know, broken or not working. It's got a bug in it. Is that going the right way? Okay, that'll do. So that up and down, and then I'm gonna copy that, and I'm gonna go to the mid, this one here, which has got, and I'll do this maybe 10 frames, each 10 frames. So I'll key here on the translate Y and go edit, paste. So we've got this. Is that working? Maybe it's working a little bit. Might pull this up a little bit more. Just gonna play around with these a bit. And then finally I'll do this one. I'll do this 20. Edit, paste. And I think I have to put a little bit on this one too, because this is the root control, so this actually governs the up and down motion. Actually no, it's not this one, it's this one of the whole fish. So I'm going to add that to this control because I think I'm going to need it. So I'm going to add selected objects, which is this control here at the front, and I'm going to take this up and down motion that I've got here, copy, and I'm just going to put it on this control at frame 5. If I can select this, paste. Oh, it's not working. Let's try again. There's different ways of doing this. I could just select it, edit, copy, and then I'll go to frame 5, and I'll go here, and I'm just going to paste it here, edit, paste. So I've got a little bit of movement, up and down movement on the fish. So it's kind of subtle, but it's there. Now the head is kind of this bit's kind of static. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to go back to the fish cycle layer. So this is all in the bob. So the fish cycle layer. I'm going to go back to the fish cycle layer. I'll just I'll go to this one, and I'm going to add these two controls as well into it. So in the fish cycle layer, add this and this. Edit. Add selected objects. You'll notice you can't actually select if the control isn't added to the layer. It won't let you go to that layer. So if you put animation on it. So I'm just going to take this this rotation. Is it on this? Where is it on this one? Hang on. Rotate Y. Oh. Let's have a look at this again. Oh, I haven't. I should. I realize I've started animating. Oh, this is on 6. There doesn't seem to be any animation on this one, so I'm going to do. I may have deleted it by accident. I'm going to copy this animation here from this control. I actually put it on this, but I've probably cut and pasted it off somehow. So I'm going to copy this, edit, copy, and I'm going to go to this control on the rotate Y. I'm just going to paste it back in again. I don't know why that happened. Okay, so we've got this now, and I'm just going to put a little bit of motion on these two. We're kind of rocking motion. So I'm going to copy this. It'll be too much. I'm going to copy this, edit, copy, and I'm going to go maybe, because this starts at 1, I might give myself negative 20 frames. So I'll maybe go to negative 6 on this, and I'm just going to press S to get the channels, and then I'm going to paste the animation from this on it. It's going to be too much, and because it's the root control, you see it rotates the whole fish, which is not what I want. I just want it very subtle, so I'm going to, using this control, not that, I'm afraid, this, I'm just going to bring this right down, just so it's just perceptible. Let's see if this is too much. I'll make sure it's not. Yeah, it's just got to be a little bit. I want the head relatively still, but not completely motionless. There, this is. And then, so this is -6. I can copy this, and I can put it on the head, and maybe go to maybe minus. Add another 6 on -13 or something. So I'll go there. So just got this. So here it's a little bit. So we've got this kind of subtle move here. Yeah, and I could see what that looks like without the. Maybe we can go. Maybe we can go a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more. Anyway, so you get the idea. The bottom line is, as long as you can see, yeah, so this is it, right, and then we've got the bob. So the two together, you've got this kind of slightly undulating feel, yeah? Alright, next up, I'm going to actually make the fish, the whole body bob up and rotate. We'll call this, give them these arbitrary names. I'm going to put the controls back on. I'll call this rock and sway. So, and that is going to be using, is it this control? Yeah, this is the root. So this controls the root, so I can use this one. Just this, and another layer, and I'll call this rock and sway. Okay, and this, I'm going to go back to, I always make sure I never want too many frames on my timeline. It gets confusing. So rock and sway. So this one is gonna be I'll key it on 1, and I'm gonna go and key it on 23. I'll have it going up. And let's see, we'll drop this down a bit. Get down like that. And then I'm going to... So I'm making all my cycles the same as the swish of the tail. You don't need to do this. I mean, sometimes, in some ways, you maybe get better results if you can offset everything a bit more. You'll make this a bit bigger, so I'll stretch this out a bit. I just want a subtle up and down motion. What does that look like? I'll make it a bit slower. So it's a bit slower now. Oh, yeah. I mean, it drops down a little bit because I've got it more than. So I'm going to put it back to this. I mean, pull it down a little bit. Okay, that'll do. I would, yeah. That'll do. So there. And then I'm going to put a bit of a rock on this as well. So, I mean, you know, and like I said, these, I'm not doing anything really interesting with the curves. So you could, you know, do that. So the rock is going to be in the X. So again, so I'm going to maybe twist it, what, this way? Maybe this way. And this, oops. And this way. And then I'll drop it this way. And I'll loop this. So it's not too much, actually. It feels too much. Just bring this down. There we go, one down there. And I'm going to offset this to everything happening together. And I'll offset the up and down motion too. Because again, it's very... Presently everything seems to happen at the same time. Okay, so that... Let's have a look at that. Okay, so we've got this kind of, yeah, this kind of motion. So that's essentially the body. Then it's the kind of dorsal fins. I'll do those relatively quickly. I'm just going to have them kind of rotate again. So the dorsals, I'll call these, and the dorsals are this, this, and this. These front dorsals, they're something else, because when a fish stops, I'm going to have it stop and then turn. They kind of come down. They kind of tread water, you know, like a bit like when we're swimming. So they're up when it's swimming, and then it pulls them down when it's in a more stationary position. So the dorsal fins, I'm going to be adding to this layer, just the top, and these two at the bottom. I'll call this dorsals. Okay, can't think of a more interesting name. And again, it's just I'm gonna go here. Maybe I'll key it. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna key it maybe a little bit this way, and maybe I'm gonna only make it 23. I'll go. This be a half cycle here, and copy this. Paste that. What does this look like? Something like that. Oh, fine. Okay, that'll do. And then I'm just gonna copy this. Edit, copy. I'll go to this one. I think this one I can start this. When does this start? Let's see. Let's get a rough idea. This starts in frame -2, so maybe 8 on to -2, so 6 or 7. We make it 8. And then it's rotating in the Y again. Edit, paste, and so there we go. We got this and this, and again, you make them more or less. You can play with the curves, and then you can play with. And these, I'll make it. Frame do I make that? I'll make this maybe 15 for this, 15 and 16. So these again, edit paste. And again, you know, I've got very basic shapes. You know, you could go in and make these curves more interesting. I'm not making them look like anything. You know, they don't have to be perfect sine waves. You know, they can be. You can vary make it, yeah. But just to kind of so you get the idea. So you get this, cool. And that's the dorsals, and then you want the front dorsals. So the front dorsals are interesting because I'll select those and put them in. They kind of drop down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the front dorsal. I'll first of all make a layer with all the front dorsals in them. So doing the same thing, I'll just select them, these controls, and then these ones here. And I'll make a new one. I'll call this front dorsals. Oops. Yeah, as you can see, my naming conventions aren't great. I've got capital letters for some and not for. There we go. Front dorsals. Okay, so these, I'll do this. I can copy onto the other one. I'm going to actually I'll do this one. I'm going to what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them and rotate them round a bit and down a bit, so they're kind of doing this kind of thing. Let's see, maybe something like this. There we go. Oh, yeah, maybe something like that. So they kind of drop down a bit. Okay, so that's the first thing. And now I'm going to add a little bit of. So I'm going to add it. I'm going to key that. I'll key it at 45, and I'm just keeping all the cycles the same length. Like I said, you don't need to do this. Okay. Maybe crack that up a little bit more. It's funny. It's rotate Y all the way. I was kind of expecting I might have to rotate in a different axis as well, but nope. It looks been this axis. So a bit of that, and then I'm going to take this, this rotate Y, starting at frame 1 for the time being. Edit copy. I'm going to paste onto this one. Maybe 5 frames later. Maybe 4 frames later, or 5 frames. And rotate Y. Edit paste. Let's see that. Okay. So then we got this. Oh, that's not really working. I need to make this a fair bit bigger. So I'm just going to take this and make it bigger. And like I said, you will not need. You can do this just using the scale tool. This only. Well, that's too much. Look at that. It's like an elephant's ear. Wait a minute. Let's go for subtlety. That might be too much as well. Oh, 45 is. Yeah, I'm bringing it down again. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, and then another one. So I'll copy this, edit, copy, and I'll go to this, and it's starting at 5. So maybe make this one 9. Do the same thing. Edit, paste, and then again loop these. So then we've got this. Dum. And then take these, just the rotate Y's, nothing else. And I'm going to slide them back a little bit. And then, actually I might slide them forward, because what I'm going to do is then I'm just going to cut and paste all of these onto the other fin, the other front dorsal. I'm just going to do it in the timeline. It's nice and simple. Just going to make sure I've got all of them. I think this goes to frame 56, which is here. So there you go, all the way to 56. Copy, and then I'm going to go here. 1, 2, 3. Just select the same ones in order, and then maybe a frame later, I'm going to paste it all in and loop it. So you have, oh, what's going on there? That looks a bit weird. I'll try that again. 1, 2, 3. Right, let's see. Right, that should be okay. 56, let's try it again. Copy. Put this here, paste. That looks a bit better. I'm just going to loop this and then I'm going to offset this so it's not, they're not happening exactly the same time. Okay, so there you go, and that's the dorsals. I think, yeah, that's fine. I don't want them happening together. Okay, so and you can you can always vary this again. I'm not varying it. I would probably vary this. You don't want them, and you can make this more or less. I can turn this off, the front dorsals altogether. So when I turn them off, they both go back up like this. And again, you might have a little bit of animation on them, just a tiny bit. So you don't want them completely static. And then you can anyway. So this is the essential fish cycle. This is what it looks like, and I can turn it off and put it on, and that's the great thing about it. So now to make it swim, and you also want that very fast fish turn. So how do you do that? Well, I'm going to create a plane. Let's make it a bit bigger. Let's see, 1,000. That'll do it. And I'm going to just make that a bit lighter. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a camera, create cameras. I'll put the camera, I'll drag it into this shot, and maybe this one here, and I'll see what it looks like. So I want the fish to kind of swim up and then turn. And then, so my perspective view, I can see where I'm putting stuff. So this is, I always go in and change the camera settings. I put in a resolution gate. I always want to see that. And then I'll take this stuff. So I want the fish to come, what do I want it to do? I want it to come, I'll put the, also I'm going to go to display. I'm going to put this plane in a layer so I don't touch it by accident. Okay, so I want this to come towards me. I'm going to make the camera bigger. I'll make it 10. This doesn't have any effect on the actual, the way it's easier to see, so maybe 10's a bit much. Make it 5. Okay, so I've got the fish coming towards me, so what am I going to do? I'm going to use this control here, the bottom control. And this is now all going to be on the base animation layer, what I'm doing from now on. I'm just going to use the bottom control. I mean, I could use the root again, but I'm not going to bother. I'll use this one. The fact that the center point of this is on the floor really doesn't matter for my purposes, because I'm really just using it to push it towards, and then I'm going to have it, turn and kind of go back in the opposite direction. So it's not really an issue. So okay, I'm gonna have it back here somewhere, like so, and I'm just gonna give myself some more frames. So I'll give it maybe 200. See what that looks like. 300. What the hell? 250. There we go. So it's gonna come towards the camera. So I'll key it here. Key it coming towards the camera. It's going to come. It's going to end. What's this end point? It will be about here. Maybe. Oops. Turning around slightly here. Okay, so that's it. Oh, silly me. It'd help if I had Sorry, I forgot to actually give it an end frame. So maybe. Let's see what this looks like. I have it coming up here. Like this, and then I'm just thinking. All I'm thinking is what's the end point of this? All right, here. That'll do. There. This will do. Maybe something like this. Oops, not as far down as that. I see it's quite low to the ground. Okay, so what does this look like? Okay, well, it's going to look kind of... This looks a bit weird. It's coming in very quickly. Does it see it? Well, maybe it's not. Okay, so first of all, that looks kind of strange. So what do I have to do? Very simply, the forward motion of it has to be linear. It has to be coming. It can't be kind of starting. It has to already be moving. So make sure that's linear, and then it's going to come to a halt. Now, if I go into with this selected, this control here, I can go into my animation menu and visualize create editable motion trail. Now, this is handy because see, I've got my fish swimming in a straight line, which I don't want. I kind of want it arcing. So I'm going to give myself a kind of point here, and I'm going to pull the fish over this way because I want it to arc. And then you see you get this nice arc. Now you'll see this won't look correct because the fish is kind of going like this. I think it's going it's going like this, going up and round. Yeah, so it's not, the body's not really following it. So but this, I'm just going to check out the speed of this, see if the speed's okay. The speed's kind of important. Now this is the only problem with doing it this way. One of the great things of putting things on paths is it's very easy to get, you've only got one line to contend with, so getting speeds correct is very easy. When you do something this way, you're contending with your motion trails, so sometimes it feels a little bit, so anyway, it feels a little bit fast, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stretch it out a wee bit. So I might stretch these out, and I'll stretch this out. I just want to make this feel a bit slower. And like I said, I'm not too bothered about how it looks because I know that yeah, that's almost there. And then I'll just slow it down at the end. So it's getting there. So something like this. Let's look at this. I'm looking at the top view. Yeah, this gives me a better idea. Okay, cool, that'll do. So, got that. Now, of course, the first thing you notice is the fish is not it's not angled along the line. Look at it, it's just in the wrong direction. This is a great thing about having anim layers. So I can go in, I can just mute all of these, everything, minus the base animation layer, and I can actually go in to the... Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure this. I'm going to turn this fish around. I'm going to go and start actually animating the. I'm going to make sure it's angled the right way. So this is fine. I can see. I want this to be angled always. Now I'm going to turn this slightly so the nose is angled. Yeah. And I'll turn it slightly here so the nose is angled. I want the nose going along the line, otherwise it's going to look weird. And then here. Now I'm going to deal with the rest of the body soon. There. Right, okay, into there. Okay, so oops, sorry. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to select all these. Well, I'm going to use the fishtail, this selection thing here. I'm going to put these two in it, and I'm going to just key all of these as I go along. So I'm going to key here at 5. I'm going to go at intervals, make sure it's all there following the line. So I'm going to go to frame 30. I'll key them again here, and I'm just going to twist these around so they're following the right place. Right, and then I'm going to keep on going around. I'm going to use my selection set. I just got to add these two to them. I'll key these again. I key all the controls, even if you're just moving 2 of them. always key everything, because that way you're always, you know, you're not going to get any weird effects that you're not anticipating. And then I'll use the fish to select again with these two. And I'll key again. And I'm just going to twist these two around like so. And this will have an effect on the way the fish looks, of course. It's not going to look weird if it's following the line. And then I'll select everything and select these two and key everything again. Doesn't look too bad. And then here, key everything, but make sure that the tail is in the correct direction. So go back and adjust this. And then here again, select this and key everything. I'm just straightening it up. Yep. So what you end up with, if you're looking at it in this view, is the fish will come like so. And this of course is with no animation on it. And then if you start, if I unmute these, then you have now you've got slight up and down motion. Now I would probably add more up and down motion to the fish because I don't want it swimming. You don't want it looking like it's on track. So just going the bottom control again, I'm probably going to make it go slightly higher up. And then something like this. Oh, what's going on? I think I shouldn't have moved my camera. Maybe. Okay, so still feels a bit fast. Well, what I'll do is I'll show you. You can actually play with this speed in. So let's see. We've got it going up. We've got it going down. We've got these translations. If I look at these again, I think I need to slow them down still further. I'm just going to go and drag that out a bit. Oh. The only problem with dragging this out is it doesn't drag out the other. Anyway, so I think we've got. Anyway, the thing with this is, of course, yeah. So it's kind of getting there. It's not perfect. So we'll roll with this. I think I'm going to make it bank too. That's one thing I'm noticing. It needs to bank. I think so. I'll do that on the Y. It feels too linear. I'm going to go to the root control this time, and what I'm going to do, I can see there's something happening here. So on the, I'm just going to the up and down motion. So I'm going to, right, I'll make sure this isn't looping. Curves, post infinity, constant. Pre-infinity constant, curves, post-infinity constant. I'm aware that the up and down motion I've put on the base animation. I don't want that to loop. It's just so it doesn't look like it's on tracks. So I've just made it constant, even though the other stuff from the fish cycle is looping. This is constant. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to twist. I'm going to bank it slightly. And I'll do that with the root control. I'm going to twist it slightly in the rotate X. So as it comes round, if I get rid of these points, I will have it twisting this direction. So it doesn't look quite so... You don't want it to look like it's on rail tracks. And then I'm going to keep it twisting. Yeah, that should be okay. Anyway, so we'll roll with this. And you can, you know, the thing with all these is you need to, you can do all kinds of finessing to get the stuff look nice. And what I'd probably also do is I'd play around with the fish cycle itself. So the good thing is, like I said, you can key this. So maybe I want the cycle quite hard here, and then maybe as it comes round, I'm going to press key. I'm going to key it, and then as it comes to a stop, I want to take this down a fair bit. So I'll drop it down to maybe about here, maybe halfway, and key it again. So you can see the weight here. So it just means that it's less intense. So I can key that, and I can key some other things too. Anyway, so this is really just to give you a flavor of how you can go about it. Now you can always finesse it. So you got the fish, you got it coming down, and you can see the dorsals aren't really doing anything. So the front dorsals are presently very low. So what would happen is as the fish comes to the stop, I would I'll key the front dorsals here, but as it comes to a stop, I would take the animation of the front dorsals up and key them again. So then you have that kind of... this is probably a bit too much. It looks a bit rather strange. Wait a minute. Maybe drop it back a little bit. Yeah, but anyway, you get the idea. So that you can drop the front dorsals. So you get some around. And the bob, what's the bob on? The bob is on really low as well, so I'd probably have the bob up much higher. So the bob's on higher, the dorsals at the back, they're high. So I think with the bob, more of a bob on this, it will probably work. The rock sway, yeah, so there's a bit more going on there. This feels a bit better. I realised I turned the bob down quite low. So you've got a bit more. Now, you want to do the fish turn. And like I said, you can always go into all any of the things you've done. You can make them bigger, smaller. You can tweak them. This gives you a lot of flexibility. The fast turn is actually very simple. So I'll just show you quickly how to do the fast turn. So what you're doing in the fast turns case is using the control here. Maybe you have it stuck here for, I don't know, 60, 70 frames. Yeah. And then you decide to make it turn around very quickly. So to do that, you're going to have to swing it around here. You have to pull it out, over, make sure that this is on object. You pull it out here, so you're going to have this kind of twist around here. Let's go like that, and then it's going to go around. They kind of double back on themselves quite quickly. Go around this way. I can see the path it's making from this, so it'll be like this, and then it's going to carry on. I'll just push it forwards. Yeah. Oops. I was pushing upwards. I'm pushing it this way. Yeah. And I'll make sure that this is, as it moves forward, it's going linearly. Yeah, so you got that. Okay, so let's just say, so this is it. Comes, stops, dorsals come down, and then it twists round and off it goes. Now, the great thing is you can always adapt these curves. If I want to make this a bit more curvy as it should be, I can do this. But anyway, like I said, this is a tutorial, so it's just so you guys can can put something together, and you can make it very nice, I'm sure. So there we go, like this. I'd probably make this a bit longer. I'll give it 300 frames, and I'll just make this a bit longer. So I'll pull this further down, I should say. So I'll pull this down here. Okay, something like that. So like this. Okay. Right. So how do you do this bit? Well, this bit again is very simple. You go into your when it starts to move, I'm gonna have to do the same thing. I've got the fish turning around and swimming, but I haven't got the body working, so it's angled correctly. So presently, if I look at this one, it kind of goes like this and then goes off like that, which looks actually the angles they turn. So yeah, maybe it's a bit slow when it moves off. Anyway, but look. So what I'm going to do is I'll speed it up slightly. So the easiest way to do that, well, first of all, is I have to make the body angle around the turn itself. So to do that, I'm going to select these controls, and all this is done the base animation again, and the two head controls. So I've got, let's see, it goes here, and then it turns right. It starts turning here. So I'm gonna, just before it starts turning, I'm gonna key all of these. Like, it starts turning here, right? Now, as it starts turning here, I'm gonna turn this one. Oh, that's not that one actually. It's the wrong one. It's this one. This is this one here slightly. I'm gonna turn the head. When the head angling around like it's looking around the body, I'm going to turn this. I'll do this from the top view so you can see what I'm doing, and I'll make sure you can see the motion control. So I mean, I'm not going to be able to fit this exactly, but so I'll go through this. I want to fit this. And very importantly, remember to mute everything when you do this, because otherwise you're going to get interference. You know, you're not going to know if you're turning it correctly. So mute everything. That way you'll have an idea of how you should bend the fish so it best works. Maybe I'll turn this slightly. Go like this, and this. What does this do? Turns this. Right, okay, I just not be perfect and try and bring this right. So we've got this. Something like this. You can spend a long time getting this right. So there. That'll do for this one. So I'm going to select the fishtail. I'll select. Where is it? This, and I'm just going to press key. So I've hit the selection set, and I'll go forward a little bit. Maybe another, I don't know, 5 frames or so, and I'll do again. I'll select these again and these two, and I'll key them all just so that they're all keyed. And I'm just going to turn this a bit more this time, and I'll turn the head a bit more. And I'll turn this round a bit more back this way. And I'll turn that round this way. Yeah, and do this when all the animation's muted, otherwise you won't be able to see what you're doing. And then go here, a bit further forward. And then same thing again. I'm straightening up the head now, straighten it up. Actually, remember to select my selection set. Key everything. Always remember to key everything. Otherwise you can end up with kind of weird artifacts, you know what I mean? Because you bend something too much because you got the interference of the fish cycle there. Okay, that'll do. And then go forward a bit more and select that again. I want to straighten it up now and key all those, and then let me see, I'm going to turn this a bit more like that. When you're selecting the root control, you just have to be a little bit careful. You you don't turn it too much because it turns everything. So you got to be kind of slightly careful. So that, let's make sure that's all. The reason I key all the controls first is that way, whatever you do, because I've got auto key on, you're going to get a key. And I'll go down this way, and I'm going to straighten these up. So I'll select them all again, these two, that, and press S. What I'm gonna do, I'll straighten this up. Okay. And then go further on a bit and select all of these, select these two. I should actually have put the top two in the selection set, but I didn't. That's why I'm having to select them separately. We're going to try and straighten the fish up a bit more. I'll probably just select this and make sure the motion trail is long enough. Right, there we go, and then there we go, get this. That looks a bit better. So let's see, whoa. Anyway, so this gives you an idea, and then have a look at it in the camera. So, what does this look like? So you've got that, that, and then that. I mean, it's not a very sharp turn, but at least you'll see. Yeah, okay, you can make it sharper, but we'll play with this just now. I'll unmute these. We're almost there, and so you've got make it bigger. So you've got coming forward, and yeah, like I said, you can make this fish cycle work a lot better than this. Stop, and then you've got the. Oh, that looks a bit. So that. Oh yeah, I was going to say. So then it goes round. One thing is, so normally what you're going to want to do also is when the fish kind of does that turn, the fish cycle is on slow. You're going to want that to, and this turn here, you key the fish cycle and you want that to go in a few frames to full. So you want that to go kind of from there to there. You kind of want a big push. But anyway, this still isn't there. So I'll just show you the final stage to get these things to work, and that is using the scene time warp. So this is the final thing, which will help. So I'll just show you the scene time warp. It's very handy. Oh, how annoying. Wait 1 minute. Oh. Windows. So it's this irritating when this happens. 1 second. Hopefully my computer hasn't crashed. I should probably save this just in case. Save scene as. Actually, I don't think it's crashed. I'm gonna risk it. Let's go to the workspaces and right, and I've got my tools. I've got my anim layout here. Anyway, I'll make sure I've got my outliner. Right, so we've got this camera here. So we've got it going right now. What we need now is what's known as the scene time warp. So I'm just going to go in the animation menu and go to scene time warp, add scene time warp. Now what you get is you get the single line, and it's just on the turn. I want that to be fast. So I want that to be faster. So what I'm going to do is where it turns, which is here, I'm going to add a key. Keys, insert key tool. Yeah, add a key. And then just for this bit here, when it turns round, I'll insert another key as well. I want this to be quick. So I'm going to lift this bit of the timeline, which can be slower, and I'm going to make this bit fast. So then you get that kind of Oh, sorry, I don't want it. I don't want it. I only want the fast bit. So what I might have to do is change this slightly because I don't want it necessarily swimming away fast. I'll pull this back a bit. So I want to keep the gradient there. It's more just the turn. So let me see. So you got probably made it too much. Wait a minute. Bring this down a bit. And that's a bit too slow. But I think you get the idea. Wait a minute. So it comes round. The animation is kind of ropey, but I'm trying to show you the process. And then there's... Oh, wait a minute. Drop this down still further. Anyway. Maybe not the best animation in the world, but I think you get the idea. But you can have... It is very effective. If you take your time and work with it, you can get some nice effects. I find it very hard to animate and talk at the same time. I'm not very good at multitasking. Yeah, and then sheesh, and then maybe the fish cycle. You can you can go in and work into this stuff, but it certainly gives you something you can work with. Anyway, I hope this was of interest, and you can see that how you can use the layers very effectively and get some nice effects.